Happy Easter, everybody. Today I wanted to give you a very important lesson that I think is going to be very useful to you as a upcoming trader. The past few days I have been in Denver, Colorado with my top trading challenge student, Tim Grittani. We're working on a very special project, sometimes known as the Denver Project. It's going to be very cool, and we'll tell you about that shortly. But just spending time with him and trading with him live, I learned some really valuable lessons. And I sometimes get away from this. It's good to be brought back to reality by a student who's also now a teacher. He gives other webinars to other Trading Challenge students. You Trading Challenge students, you have access to 20 of his webinars. You should watch all of them because Tim Grittani is, just an incredible person, really. He's taken a few thousand, turned into now 2.55 million in 4 years, bettering me in my first 4 years by nearly $1 million. But his head is on track, and he's also an excellent teacher, as those of you Trading Challenge students who have seen some of his webinars can attest. So these are the 5 things I learned from him. We did a webinar, a live trading webinar, and we traded. I made, I think, like 600 or 700 during the webinar. I nailed the morning panic on GBSN. He nailed the morning panic on GENE, and he made roughly 4,000. And he did not trade at all the rest of the day, despite many temptations. And this was the day when the blatant pump GBSN was squeezing everybody. He wasn't even tempted. And I was like, how? This guy, he's made $1 million more than me during my first 4 years because he trades a lot more than me. And I'm like, how are you not even tempted to trade this? And he's like, I don't want to trade the first green day. I've made myself a promise. And, he was right. And I was dead wrong. I traded after my first good trade that morning on GBS, and I had 2 bad trades. And I finished the day roughly, I think I was up like 200 or 300. I don't know. It was nothing. But the best play was no play. And he was dead on right. And I was shocked that someone who trades as much as he does was so calm and cool about it. He's just like, nope, I'm just not going to trade. Also, patience. He treated March like a vacation month. He's been having some choppiness in his trades. I know a lot of you guys have lately. The market has not been as easy as it has been 6 months prior. The markets go through these phases. Sometimes everything is so easy and you're like, oh my God, why am I not making more with all these opportunities? Sometimes it's tough. And the past few weeks, we've been in kind of tough mode. And so he treated March like a vacation month, and he still made 68,000. And it's a great lesson, from one of my other top Trading Challenge students, Mark Crook, who's also going to start doing videos specifically for Trading Challenge students. I love the giving back, the paying it forward. 80% of Mark's profits come from 6% of his trades. And it's kind of crazy where if you have the mentality, oh, I'm going to trade every day, I'm taking the day off from work or school, and I really want to learn this, and you force trades because you're trying to schedule trades using your own personal schedule. And that's not the right way. Treat every month like it's a vacation month. A lot of people criticize me because I travel so much. If you look at the data, I actually do better when I'm traveling, because I'm not partaking in lesser trades. If I'm traveling, like I'm going to Japan in a few weeks, I'm only going to take a few trades because I want to explore Japan. I want to experience my trip, but I'm still going to take trades when they pop up. And that is the mentality that you should always have. And it's very difficult to have that when you want to make money, you see others making money. You have to try and let the trades come to you. So Tim Grittani has learned incredible patience. He has also learned frugality. Despite him making 2.5 million and probably having, after taxes, like 1.3, 1.5 million in the bank, he does not live large. He's very frugal. And a lot of you guys are concerned about me. They're like, Tim, you're living too large. You're spending all this money. You forget that I trade with a very small account, okay? So when I make 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 in a day, I've been making roughly 20,000 a month. I'm trading with a small account just to show you that you can trade with a small account. And as I teach also, it's next to impossible when I'm trying to trade, make some live video lessons or do live webinars, narrate, give out alerts, and watch the stock. So given my teaching setup, I don't want to trade big. But understand that I also live rather frugally. I spend less than 10% of my income every single year. Grittani probably spends less, but be frugal. Don't blow all your money. You never know when the market is going to get tough. There might not be any shares to short sometimes on some great plays. If the economy, the jobs report or the unemployment report was terrible on Friday, so we're looking at a down start to next week. Maybe this bull market is closer to the end. Maybe there's not going to be any earnings or contract winners to buy. So always try and be frugal. Don't expect that the big trading money is going to keep coming. I made nearly $1 million in trading profits last year, even trading with a very small account. But I also lived pretty well. So live well, but also just keep in mind that trading is not like this guaranteed income. It goes through phases. Sometimes you're going to have a really hot market, and it's going to feel like everything I've taught you just comes so easily, and you're like, oh my God. And then sometimes it won't. So you have to understand that. Also, Tim Grittani has incredible focus. His daily goals are not just to make as much money as possible, but to follow price action, capitalize on any great setups, long or short, and trade the patterns well. That day that we did live trading from his house, there weren't any really great setups after the morning setup, so he just did not trade. And, 15 years later, I still have not learned that lesson. So he has incredible focus, and that also goes with discipline. But his main thing is consistency. He trades the same patterns over and over, and he's not tempted by plays outside the patterns that have made him rich. So I am guilty of this. It's kind of crazy hanging out with this guy who's probably the single best trader in the world over the past 5 years. I was like, you understand that no one else has turned a few thousand into a few million and shown every single trade in the past 5 years, other than you, in the entire world. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like all humble about it. And I'm like, you are the freaking best trader in the world. Accept that. And he's like, I don't know, and he really is. I have seen the numbers. I have heard all the trading stories in the world. There is nobody else like this guy. And, you trading challenge students really, really need to respect his webinars and appreciate them. I find myself even watching them because he is Mr. Consistency. Going through all of the discipline, focusing on the same plays, not veering. I did not have anywhere near this kind of discipline after my first 4 years, and now even 15 years later, I'm jealous of him, and I'm still learning from him. So I want you guys to kind of look at all of these lessons and take them and say, you know what, I don't care if I'm in year 1 of trading or year 15 or year 30. There's always something to be learned from traders who are being successful and doing very well. I know a lot of the big time traders in the world, they get very cocky. They're very weird, but they're also very cocky. They're like, I don't need to learn from anybody else. I'm trading big money. Screw your webinars and your DVDs. And that's the wrong attitude, because a lot of big traders could do well and do better if they return to the basics, but their egos don't allow that. So never let that happen to you. I might seem like an ass on social media, but I am all about learning. I am perfectly willing to admit my mistakes, and I'm willing to learn from anybody who is successful and can show it and can detail it and can prove it as Tim Grittani has. So I highly encourage you to watch his 20 plus webinars, no matter how much money you have made, no matter how much money you have lost. I thank Tim Grittani for being so open. I know being so open about making so much money opens himself up to so many questions and ridicule, and it's kind of strange to talk about money on the internet with people you don't know. So I just thank him. Some of my other millionaire students, they're not as public. They don't want to be public. They want their privacy. I have to respect their wishes, but I am so thankful that Tim understands that transparency is the future. Showing all your trades, not lying about your trades, not trying to pretend like you're going to be perfect all the time, but sharing openly and honestly. It helps you as a personal trader, and it helps the community as a whole. So Tim Grittani, he lost $300,000 a few months back. He detailed it. He did a great trading challenge webinar on that. And, he talks about his mistakes openly, as I try to do too. And that is what really is going to help you as a trader. Don't just try to hide your mistakes. We all make them. Whether we're rich or poor, it's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to make them try and, push them under a rug and forget about them and then make the same mistake again. So transparency, discipline, patience, frugality, focus, consistency. This is what I've learned really from Tim Grittani. I mean, I knew this stuff. You kind of know these rules. Nothing here is rocket science, but it's a good refresher when you see someone who has been so successful practicing it and doing it better than I did. As I wish I had been more disciplined that day on GBSN because I missed out on a great opportunity. So it's good to learn from these guys, and it's good to learn and talk about it. So we have a new section on Profitly/contribute. Thank you to all of you guys who are submitting articles and posts. It's all very useful. Use it as a diary. Let me write it here. It is, if you go to Profitly/contribute, it doesn't matter what your account size is, what you've made, what kind of stocks or Forex or anything that you're trading. Just use it as your own personal blog. Every member of Profitly has one, and share your thoughts openly. It'll help you, especially when you start to look back at what trades work well and what trades don't work well. Tim Grittani, you can see his setup over here he's got his charts, and he's got his level 2 and his trading. But what he also does, and I probably should have put this in here, he does an amazing job keeping track of everything. So he can optimize his strategies, see what strategies work well. So he has spreadsheets galore. And feel free to post this on Profitly/contribute. Make it kind of like a public diary, a public reminder of what's working well for you or what's not working well for you. That is going to help you huge. I know a lot of you guys don't want to talk about money. If you're trading a big account or if you're embarrassed about trading a small account, it doesn't matter, okay? It comes down to, what can you do to grow your account? Tim Grittani, a few thousand now into 2.5 million in 4 years. I took 12,000 and turned into 1.65 million in my first 4 years. And we did it on very similar patterns, very similar stocks, and a decade apart. And, what we both have done is really continue to make money and stick to what we're good at because we're open and honest about it. I have a big problem. Sometimes I buy stocks, I get too excited about their products, like REFR and their deal with Lincoln Continental, MEDL and their deal with Facebook, ITKG and their, as of yet unknown deal that they've teased. I need to really focus more on plays that have made me rich, and I admit that I make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. So many of you guys are like, oh, this is unforgivable. Oh my God, how could I do this? How could you do that? Listen, we're all human. We're all trying to grow our accounts. And the beautiful thing about Profitly is now it's a community with over 60,000 traders. And I want you to use the tools that we have developed and use them in the right way. Go to Profitly/contribute. Read about what other users are saying. Be respectful of their commentary. I don't care if they're dead wrong. Be like, thank you for your analysis, but here's 3 reasons why I think you're wrong. We're going to add comments in the next few days. Right now, you can't leave comments, but it's a new feature. It's a community to try and grow. There's already enough hatred of people who trade penny stocks, enough hatred of people who short sell, enough hatred of day traders. Our whole world is kind of looked at suspiciously. If you read my Business Week feature, if you read my Men's Journal feature article, now I'm in Bro Bible. It's all very curious that it's like this, we're like this freak show, this curiosity that people don't understand because most people understand, invest in good companies and, try and make 10, 15, 20% per year. And when I have videos showing making, 30, 40, 50% inside of an hour, shorting pump and dumps or buying contract winners or earnings winners, they just think that it's like fraud or manipulation or luck. They don't understand that this is the patterns that I trade and the patterns that have made Tim Grittani rich are, repeatable and replicable, and our success is replicable. So try and understand the world as a whole. And I know I'm ranting a little bit more than I wanted to, but Tim Grittani is such an outstanding trader, And, his success should inspire you because he is not, he'll admit it. He's not like the greatest at math. He's not like some genius. He's just really learned a lot of rules, and he sticks by those rules, and those rules have helped him become a millionaire. I think he's like 25 or 26 years old. So if he can do it from Colorado before he was in Ohio, I've been to 100 countries now. We can do this from anywhere in the world. All you need is Wi-Fi. He has his multi-screen monitors. I have my laptop. Whatever suits your preferences. Just try and make a few thousand a day. I know that it seems overwhelming. You want to make $1 million all at once, but both Grittani and I have made our millions 1,000, 2,000, sometimes 4,000. Sometimes we had a big trade and we make 50 or 100,000. But on average, $1,000 to $2,000 per trade. So if you make $1,000 or $2,000 on a trade using a specific strategy, not just based on luck, but if you're buying an earnings or a contract winner, or if you're shorting a pump and dump, it's not even necessarily just about news. It could just be buying a technical breakout or shorting a technical breakdown, but a very specific pattern that's going to happen again and again. That is the secret to making millions, and your gains should be bigger than your losses on average. Cutting losses quickly, it's not optional. So anyways, guys, have a good Easter. Thank you for watching. My name is Tim Sykes, and I teach people to trade stocks. I am a self-made multimillionaire.
So this is the ideal trade that I'm going to talk about. I want you guys to understand every single aspect of this trade.